start today's service with a blessing. I'll say it in Hebrew and then translate it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yotzer eschem badin v'zon v'chilkel eschem badin v'emes eschem badin v'yedei misper kulchem badin v'hu asu lachiyesem l'kayim eschem badin Baruch atah Adonai mechayam esim. Blessed are you, Lord, our God, ruler of the universe, who fashioned you with justice, nourished and sustained you with justice, took your life with justice, knows the sum total of you all in justice, and will restore and resuscitate you in justice. Blessed are you, Lord, who revives the dead. Atah gibor lo elam Adonai mechayim esim atarav lo hishia. V'chalkel chayim b'chesed v'chayim esim b'rachamim rabim. Somech neiflim v'roifei cholim matira asurim u'mekayim l'asur yisheni afor. You are eternally mighty, Lord, the reviver of dead are you. Abundantly to save, God sustains the living with kindness, revives the dead with abundance of compassion, supports the fallen, heals the sick, releases the confined, and maintains faith for those asleep in the earth. Who is like you, master of mighty deeds, and who is comparable to you? The ruler who causes death and restores life and makes salvation sprout, and you are trustworthy to revive the dead. At this time, I'd like to ask the children to please say after me. There's a special prayer that you say, which is difficult to, as we all understand, it's difficult to understand and to come to term with the passing of your mother, your spouse, your wife. But you say this blessing, Baruch, say after me, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam dayan ha'emes. Amen. The blessing you just said is, blessed are you, Lord, our God, ruler of the universe, who is the true judge. We are going to struggle, but we have to accept he's the true judge. He understands what is needed, and he has a larger picture. And although it's going to be sad for us, we know that your mother, your wife, and a friend of most of you, an aunt, a cousin, we understand that this is going to be difficult, but we accept that he's the true judge. I'm going to start off with 3 Psalms, Psalm number 1, number 15, and 23. And then the special, the last chapter of the book of Proverbs that talks about a woman of valor. Psalm number 1, Ashrei haish asher lo yahalach b'atzas rishoyim, u'b'derech hatayim lo yamod, u'b'moshev leitzim lo yashov. Ki im b'seres hanei chevtzoy v'srosu yehege yemim v'loylam. V'hoya ke'eit shasul apal gemoyim asher pirio yiten v'alei lo yibo v'chol asher ya'aseh yatzliach. Lo yichenu rishoyim ki im kemoyis asher tedefend ruach, al kein lo yikum rishoyim b'mishpat v'chatoyim b'das tzadikim, ki yedei Adonai derech tzadikim v'derech rishoyim teved. I guess everybody understood that, so I'll go to the next one. Mizmor leDavid Adonai mi yogur bo yalecha mi yishkan b'har kachecha. Hayolech tam v'foyel tzedek v'dever emes v'lvavai v'lo yirogel al l'shoynoi lo yasol l're'eyu ra v'cherpa l'nosal kroivei nivze be'enav nimas v'sira Adonai yechabed nishbar l'hora l'yomir kasper l'nosam v'neshach v'shechad al naki l'lokach oise eda l'yimot l'olam. I see some faces, so I'll say it in English. Okay. A song of David, Lord, who may sojourn in your tent, who may dwell in your holy mountains, one who walks in purity, does what is righteous, and speaks the truth from the heart, who has no slander on the tongue, nor has done harm to a fellow, nor cast disgrace towards a neighbor, and whose eyes a contemptible person is repulsive, but who honors those who are in awe of the Lord, who swears truthfully even to personal hurt, and never retracts, who does not lend money on interest, nor takes a bribe against the innocent. One who does these things shall never falter. And Psalm 23. Mizmor leDavid Adonai roi nai da 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 dam lo yechsor v'nois deshe yar b'tzeini da 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 wa me menuchos yina leini nafshi yeshoyvev yancheni b'maglei tzedek yancheni b'maglei tzedek oy leman shemoy gam ki yelech b'gei tzalmoves lo yiroro ki ato imodi shiftecho mishantecho Eimo yinachmuni tarech lefonai shulchan neged zereroi Ishanto Hashem en roishi koisi revoyo Achtoiv v'chesed yirdefuni kol yemei chayai V'shavti b'beis Adonai li'oirech yomim. A song of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not lack. God causes me to lie down in lush pastures. God leads me beside tranquil waters. God restores my soul and guides me in the righteous path for God's name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your scepter and staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in full view of my adversaries. You have anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for length of days. And from the book of Proverbs, Eishes chayil mi yimtza v'rachoik mipnini michra botach bole balo v'shololo yachsor sheker hachein v'hevel hayofi isha yiras Adonai hitasalo shnulo mekriyodeo v'sharim v'halelua v'sharim maseho. But today we came to say goodbye to Phyllis, which is difficult to put in a couple sentences to try to summarize her life. First reason why it's difficult is because I didn't really know her. But even if I would, because I learned a lot about her yesterday, I spoke to the family, spoke to her sons and to her husband, there's so much to talk about her. There's so many great values that she leaves behind, and it would be appropriate to take this time as the time of a eulogy is meant for people to realize the loss, and not only to realize what kind of loss we have, but to see what we can take to ourselves, what kind of attributes can we take from her and try to relate it to ourselves and try to follow in her ways. I think we have it all wrong, and I'll tell you why. Years ago, when people used to travel, they would get onto a boat. Everybody would come say goodbye to them before they leave, and it would be a journey of 2-3 weeks. And when they arrived, nobody was there to greet them, because you never know when the boat was going to arrive. I know from my family, my great-grandfather left New York to go study in Israel. It took him 3 weeks. Everybody was there to say goodbye when he left. But when he arrived, they arrived at the port at 3:30 in the morning. Nobody knew if they're coming, if they're not coming. And really, it should be the opposite. People should be sad when somebody leaves, because you don't know if they're going to make it. There's unfortunately a lot of issues that could happen, and everybody should be there greeting them with balloons and flowers when they arrive. Finally, you have arrived, you're safe, everything worked out. And the same is when a person is born. Everybody is excited, everybody is happy, but we don't know what kind of journey they're going to have. What kind of impact will they have on this world? How are they going to affect others? And when a person passes on, we're all sad. But in essence, when we see somebody like Phyllis who passed away, especially her, and she leaves over such great memories, and she leaves over so many friends, and everybody feels the void because she has made such a great impact on so many people, we should really be happy that she lived a life of fulfillment, a successful life, and she leaves this world a better world than when she first came in. But the facts are, we are sad. And we all want to be comforted. So I would like to share with you from our tradition. Hopefully this would comfort everybody, especially the family. When a person is born, there's a combination of the body and the soul. The soul is part of God. The soul, the essence of the soul, is the breath of God that he blew into Adam, and every soul thereafter is part of God. The soul never dies. So although a person will pass on, their body passes on. Their soul lives on forever. And as we always say, that the soul goes back to its maker. It's going to greet all of its relatives. Now, all of these years when Phyllis was around, she has done so many great deeds, so many mitzvahs, so many ways to affect others, and that is put into an account, so to say, like a savings account, and that's what she has what to live off from the day she passed, forever. But the day she passed on, she stopped being able to do good deeds, and she's in a standpoint. And right now she's relying on all of us. Anyone who she affected, anyone that's related to her, anyone that wants to help her out, it's up to us. Right now she's relying on all of us to do good deeds, to do things to honor her, as well as to help her soul go higher and higher. And we don't have to do crazy things, putting a smile on somebody, trying not to cut off the person in front of you, even though they weren't nice to you, etc. There's always, especially today, the world is getting a little crazier, so there's a lot of opportunities to be a mensch, and not to do things just because, well, I want to do it. By doing that and having her in mind, especially great values that she has taught you, or things that you can do to emulate her, by doing that in her memory, you will elevate her soul. Her soul is going to go higher and higher. The goal is not to return your soul to God the way you got it. The goal is to return it in a better way. And a soul could never reach its point just by being the soul. Because if that was the goal, then we wouldn't have to be born. If all we needed is 100% pure souls, we would have just kept it up there. But the purpose is to make it a greater soul, to work on it. And that's through putting it in a human body as a combination. The body and the person and the soul work together. That's why there's a great respect in a cemetery, because the soul has legions. The soul hovers over the body, because this is the body that they were partners together to do all these great things. And by us trying to do things in her memory will elevate her soul. Every year on the day of her passing, although it's going to be a sad day from our perspective, it's a great day for her. It's a day, it's considered like her own Rosh Hashanah, a day of judgment, where they look to see how much has she grown. And in the first year, the first anniversary of her passing, they're going to view to see how much has been done in her memory, because she herself couldn't do it anymore. And she won't recognize her new place in heaven, because so many people are going to be doing things in her memory. So many people are going to emulate her and follow her ways. And this is just going to add for her great benefit. Like I've mentioned before, maybe she never asked for favors, but now she has no choice. She's relying on everybody. She cannot do it on her own. Also appropriate, throughout life, somebody lives a good life of 78 years, you end up running into people, and some people misunderstand you, may take things different than you meant, and some people get upset at you, and vice versa. So it's appropriate to ask for forgiveness from Phyllis if, God forbid, somebody felt that she did something that wasn't up to their liking. And definitely, if any of us have not treated her properly, or haven't visited her as much, or haven't called her, or maybe misunderstood what she meant, we ask from her forgiveness, and we ask everybody else to forgive her. as she goes to the new journey, she goes in the world of truth. We don't want any obstacles. We want everything to go smooth. It would be, if the family is up to it, it's really appropriate to hear from the children their perspective, or to share some memories or thoughts about their mother, where it will definitely talk closer to us, and hopefully we could take a lesson from her. So I'd like to ask one of the sons, if you're up to it, I'll give you $5.
Sorry about my voice, I lost it. What can I say about our mom? She was a nurse, a doctor, a judge, a lawyer, a cook, house cleaner, dog trainer, antiquer, art teacher, and so much more, all rolled up into one package. Growing up, Mom never missed an opportunity to bake a cake for birthdays or making Halloween costumes. She never missed any of the special days and holidays. She always knew more than the doctors and was always the first to mend you back up. When it came to your health, she asked every question and did her research. 4 crazy boys were the perfect school for her to get her PhD. On a tight budget, she kept us fed and clothes, even if it was our older brother's clothes. She ended all fights with, "Just wait till your father gets home." Mom was the judge and jury, and when it came to hearing arguments with her boys, she never lost a case and never gave in. Her love and care for Dad kept him alive through many health scares. Her love for family made her boys go out and have their own families and give them many grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Mom would throw us in the car quite often to hit a garage sale or a flea market. For Mom, junk was not crap, and crap could be made into something new again. To this day, none of the brothers can drive by something on a tree lawn before garbage day and think, "Boy, Mom would have wanted that to restore." She was the real American Vicar. She loved a good comedy movie, from Airplane to Blazing Saddles. She loved music in the car, and I can still hear Barry Manilow, Copacabana on the 8-track. All in all, Mom could beat you down and mend you up in the same day. She loved a lot of different things in life. First and foremost, Dad, her boys, each in her own way. Of course, Aaron first. She loved her family, friends, her dogs, dolls, and so much more.
So I'm supposed to picture somebody naked, I think. Scott, I'm looking at you. I'm sorry. Mom is no doubt here with us today. Hi, Mom. She cared about all that have gathered here today. She cared about everyone she encountered. Making a connection with them was very important to her. Remembering something about them, asking them at least 20 questions, and probably asking them the same questions again. She's proud of her sons, the one that became a sheriff's deputy. She's proud of her son that manages well over 60 properties throughout Greater Cleveland, and not just cares for Jewish people, but all people. She's proud of her son that became a Beechwood police officer. And she's proud of her son that became a civil engineer. In different ways, we serve the public. Talking about my brother Scott, Craig, and Jamie, and myself. And there's no doubt she loved what we did. She was proud of us. Proud of our professions, but more importantly, she's proud of the families that we helped grow.
She had her son's FOP cards ready to use at any time. I think Dad may have used his a couple more times. So. She loved her parents so much. She was so fond of them. And she would talk about her daddy and couldn't wait to see him again. Couldn't be happier for her to go see her dad and mom, including the daughter that she lost. For much of her life, she never had girls. But there were two that came along, Christine and Amanda. Y'all think I'm the favorite? It's Amanda, Christine. They won her heart, and she cherished every moment. There's no doubt she had trouble making memories in recent times, so I ask that all of you remember the good times that we had with her, because we had a lot. We had a lot of laughs and so much love. So whether you're going to get a Happy Meal, pick apples, carve pumpkins, think of Mom, make new memories, watch a good movie, laugh. She had one dream that she told me, one of many, and that was for her sons and her husband to go to the Kentucky Derby. And she would have put on a big old vintage hat and an antique dress. So brothers, we got a little road trip to make someday. We may have to take separate cars, as we'll just be yelling at each other, arguing like old days. We stop looking at me, quit touching me. Mom will be watching us and saying, yeah, she'll be reprimanding us. I'm gonna pull this car over and get your father. So in the end, remember from Mom to continue to advocate for your loved ones. She was the best advocator of all time. She loved her husband so much, and he wouldn't be here without her. We love you, Mom.
I will say the memorial prayer, although we will say it again after we complete the burial. But I know the weather has not been what I ordered, and I figured in case somebody wants to leave, I don't want to hold anyone. If I can ask you all to rise for the memorial prayer, those who have an easy time standing. El Malei Rachamim Shechem Bamroimim Hamtzem Nuchanechoino Tachas Kamfei Yashechino V'malois Kedoshim Utehoirim Kezoyah Kezoyar Orakia Mazirim Es Nishmas Phyllis Appell Shocholi Olamo Bavur Shanachnu Mispalelim Badas Koras Nishmoso Bigan Eden Tehei Menuchoso Lochem Balo Rachamim Yastirel V'Seisei Knofov Lo Ilomim V'Yitzror V'Tzor HaChaimis Nishmoso Adonai Yunachloso V'Sunuach V'Shalom Al Mishkavo V'Noimar Romein O God, full of compassion, who dwells on high, grant proper repose on the sheltering wings of your presence, and the lofty levels of the holy and the pure, who shine like the brightness of the firmament, onto the soul of Phyllis Appell, who has gone to her world, and whose memory we pray. May your repose be in paradise. May the Master of Compassion bring her under the cover of God's wing, and bond her soul in the bond of life. May the Lord be her heritage, and may she repose on a resting place in peace, and let us all respond, Amen.
Amen.
If you guys would like to say the Kaddish with me, it's on the card. And anyone who knows the Kaddish, if you want to join along, Yis Gadal, V'Yis Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'Yalma, V'Vira, Pirusei, V'Yamlich, Malchusei, V'Chayechon, U'Vyomechon, U'Chayei, Dechon, Beis Yisrael, Ba'adallah, U'Vizman, Toriv, V'Imru, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam U'Lomei Omaya Yisbarach V'Yishtabach V'Yisboar V'Yisromam V'Yisnasei V'Yishadar V'Yishaleh V'Yishalal Shemei Tikdusha B'Richu Le'ela Min Kol Mirchasa V'Shirasa Tush b'chasa, v'nechem asa, naviran, v'oma, v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama, rabba, min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom v'romav, u'yaseh shalom, aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. All right, so at this point we'll continue with the burial, and you may be seated.
think you may shovel from both sides there.
Sorry.
We're going to say the memorial prayer again. Then we're going to line up over here, facing each other. We'll have two rows, and the mourners will walk in between, and we'll say some words of comfort. El Moed Rachamim, Shoichem Bamroimim, Amtem L'chol Echayno, Kamchli Ashchino, B'malois Kedoshim B'torim Kizoyarakim Azirim, Es Nishmas, Phyllis Appell Shochol Yolomo, Bavu Shnachim Espal Magas Kuras Nishmoso, Began Eden Temen Uchoso, Lochem Al Rachamim Yastirel, V'zesek Nechov Elomim, V'yitzor V'tzorachem V'tzishmosori No Yunachloso, V'sonu Al B'Shalom V'Mishkovo, V'neimar Omein. We say L'chi B'Shalom, V'seluchi B'Shalom, V'samdi L'Gverecho L'Ketzi Yamin. Now we'll ask everybody we'll get some people standing at
Friends,
the
would
side.
you make two lines facing each other, and we're going to let the family walk between us.
Now Mokom Yinachem Eschem B'Serch Sar Avelu Shir B'Shalayim. May the omnipresent console you among the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. This concludes the service. I recommend you go into your car and turn on the AC.